Personal development is a very extensive process. If you haven't already, check out my first video about what personal development actually is. Many of us know that we desire change in our life, but to understand where we want that change or what we want it to look like is a totally different process. The truth of the matter is there's multiple areas in regards to personal development. There's finances, there's wellness, there's career or business, there's personal, there is relationships. There's all these different areas that we could desire to have changes in, but if you don't know where to begin or you don't have an organized approach, you're going to struggle. So today we're going to talk about how to create a personal development approach that sets you up for success. So the first step goes without saying. You have to identify where you want to change. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Where are you lacking? Are you constantly living paycheck to paycheck and you want to develop that financial aspect of your life? Do you feel like you're not connected with God and not hearing His voice? And so you want to expand your spiritual approach or your spiritual relationship. Maybe you're having failing relationships after failed relationship and you're wondering how you can have a successful relationship with another person. Whatever it is, take some time to reflect on it and identify one area that you'd like to hone in and focus on for your personal development approach. Now, ultimately, we're all going to have different parts of our life that we want improvement in, but we must start with one area and then build that confidence, which will eventually spill over into the other areas of our lives as we continue to add new areas of focus. So after you identify the area in which you would like to make the adjustments, you must next identify your motivation. Without identifying a strong why, you won't have the motivation to move forward. And so what you need to do is think about why this is an area that you desire to develop in more personally. Do you desire to hear God's voice more because you don't feel like you're living your purpose? Do you desire to stop living paycheck to paycheck because you're struggling to pay bills and you're constantly worried about a repossession or an eviction? Do you feel like your example that you're setting for your children is not a good one? What is your why? When you identify that why, find a place that you can keep it right in the front of your mind. And so that may be on your bathroom mirror. That may be in a console in your car or on your work desk. Remembering your why is going to give you the motivation that you need to continue to work on developing yourself personally. So the third step is to begin to take daily action steps. A lot of us have these big dreams and these big desires, and that's great. But what is a dream or a desire without actually taking steps, without actually taking action? And so one of the things that I have my one-on-one clients do is I have them identify 10 to 15 different steps that they can take that will help them to develop in that area. And so it might be you're developing more in a spiritual realm. And so joining a small group, attending church, looking at different churches, reading spiritual books, reading devotionals, studying your Bible. So it could be something like that. Maybe you're working on the financial aspect. So you want a budget. Maybe you want an accountability partner. Maybe you want a chance to reflect on your finances. Whatever it is, identify action steps that you can take daily. This is also going to be important because as you begin to take these action steps, there's going to be moments where you run into a brick wall and you don't know the next step. Or there's going to be moments where you're frustrated or feel like giving up. And if you have a list to pull from, you'll always be sure that you're taking action steps. Take a moment and think about it. How would your life change if you took daily steps in the direction of the area that you wanted improvement? So if every day you worked on your spiritual well-being, or if every day you worked on your health, or every day you worked on your finances, how would your life change? Ultimately, it would change in amazing ways. But what I see happen is that people give up on taking steps because it's not always fun, it's not always easy, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. When you think in advance and you plan in advance different steps that you plan to take, you're setting yourself up for success. Now, for the fourth step, you're going to want to consider who's around you. I am a firm believer that we are an average of the top 5 people we spend time with. And so if you're working on your budget, but everyone around you goes to happy hour and spends their money on Jordans or Louboutins or whatever, then you're going to struggle with wanting to budget or wanting to be in better control of your money. So take time to reflect on who's in your circle. And I'm not saying to get rid of them, but you need to find people that are going to be around you, that are going to be speaking speaking life into you that are going to motivate you and encourage you to keep going after your goal. With this step, it could be important to hire a mentor or a coach or a support person to be able to support you on accomplishing this personal development goal that you have for yourself. And so if it's a spiritual goal, maybe it's a spiritual leader in your church. If it's a relationship goal, maybe you hire a relationship coach. If it's a health goal, maybe you're hiring a trainer or a nutrition specialist. Whatever it may be, consider getting that support because the truth of the matter is this is a lengthy and can be overwhelming process. But if you have support on your journey, it makes it more manageable and it makes it feel like it's within your reach. The next step is to track your progress and reflect. So a lot of times we set a goal and we say, all right, in 6 months, I want to be able to run a marathon and I want to prove that I'm healthy. But then we wait for 6 months to get here and we're like, well, we didn't run the marathon, so what happened? What you really should be doing on this journey is you should be constantly reflecting on your progress. So where am I at today? What can I do today that's going to get me to that goal? If you set these big, long goals for 6 months out, you need to set these small little milestones that you can check in with yourself. So for example, I spoke with a client earlier who's working on redoing her budget now after a divorce. She's struggling with her financial part of her life. And so what we set up was a savings goal that she had for herself, but it's a goal by the end of the year. Now, she's not going to wait until the end of the year to check in with herself. This is a regular practice. And so every Sunday she has an alarm set on her phone where she checks in with herself to say, how am I doing with my savings goal this week? When you reflect on a regular basis, it allows you to take a moment and see, do you need to make adjustments? And if so, in what direction? Therefore, you're not constantly getting to the end and failing because you're reflecting on a regular basis and making adjustments as necessary. The sixth step is to take care of yourself. I know that it's going to sound cliche, but ultimately, if you're not first good to yourself, you're good to no one. And so take care of your mind, affirm yourself, and let yourself know that the goal that you have set for you is actually within reach. Affirm yourself and remind yourself that you're valuable, you're confident, you're bold, you're smart enough to go after this. Not only should you be affirming your mind and taking care of your mind, take care of your physical body. What do you look like trying to work on your health and going to the gym on a regular basis, but eating like crap? What do you look like on wanting to take care of your spiritual goals, but you're still feeding your body negative things and not getting enough hours of sleep? You're not going to be effective at anything you do in your life, loving someone, helping someone, taking care of someone, supporting someone, going to work, whatever it may be, starting a business, writing a book, whatever it may be, you're not going to be effective at that unless you're first taking care of yourself. So think of ways that you can take care of yourself. I challenge you to come up with 5 different activities that you can do. And some of them will be very simple. Some of them might be get 8 hours of sleep, drink 64 ounces of water. And this is not just if you're working on a health aspect of your personal development. This is overall. In order to be effective, you must take good care of yourself in the process. Finally, the 7th step is if you fall, get back up. Ultimately, we are human. Everything that we go after is not going to be perfect. The personal development path is a challenging one. It's something that's not within our comfort zone. It's something that's not familiar. And that's why a lot of people don't walk this path. But you, my friend, are choosing to do something different. And so I applaud you, but I want to remind you that you're human. There's moments where you're going to do really well, and then there's moments where you're going to struggle. It's all a part of the process, and that's okay. Just allow yourself to learn from each of those experiences and continue to move in the direction of the personal development changes that you desire to have in your life. Personal development is something that we should all implement within our life, but many people think it's kind of like woo-woo or sketchy or like people are crazy if they want to do it. But the truth of the matter is, if you allow personal development into your life and make it a regular practice, it will ultimately change your life. Personal development allows you to be proactive instead of reactive. Instead of living a life waiting for things to happen to you, you are intentional about planning your life so that you're setting yourself and your loved ones up for success. The trouble is we can't just say that we want personal development. We can't write our goals or announce them or share them with people, but not actually take the steps that we need to take. a key component to personal development is actually being willing to grow into who you desire to be, to decide to walk away from that watered down version of your life that you've lived and to step into that power, into that purpose that you're called here for. I often tell my clients that life is about growth. So technically, if we stop growing, we ultimately stop living. So let me pose the question to you. Are you living? And if not, what steps can you take to start living today? Comment below and let me know. Make sure you hit like and subscribe before you go. And until next time, I will chat with you guys later.